I contemplated starting this review with singing that, the Sound of Silence song. Um, I think which is Hello Darkness, My Old Friend, isn't that? Yeah. And I was gonna get to the sound of silence, and say violence, and then I was like, nobody wants to hear me sing on here right now. Yeah, the sound of violence. This is about a young girl whose dad suffers from PTSD from the war, ends up killing her mother, and she has to kill him in self-defense or vengeance for her mom or whatever she kills him for. And while doing so, this is like, have you ever? Oh man, I used to work with a girl like this. Fuck, I can't believe I just did it. But you ever been told a joke by somebody? God, Chanel, this girl I used to work with, Chanel, she was the fucking queen of this. The best. She would tell an entire joke, and you'd be sitting there, and the punchline would come, and you'd be like, punchline? How was that? What? And then she'd be like, oh wait, did I mention that they're blind? And you're like, that would have been some good information to know. I just pulled a Chanel. The little girl is deaf. Okay? I should have said that beforehand. She's deaf. I know I didn't go like way far into the synopsis, but that was a very impertinent piece of information. So the little girl's deaf, and her father is killing her mom, and then she kills him, and in doing so, she is able to hear and see with her hearing. I think they call it like synesthesia in this movie. I did not look up the definition of that word, although I have seen that word. But that's what they called it in here. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, or saying it completely off, I apologize. But something along the lines of like being able to see what you can hear. And this is like very, I guess, I don't want to say orgasmic because she's a child in that scene, but it's very pleasurable experience. And then when she's older, because it skips ahead, she's a music major, she's making music, she's all about experimental music, she's all into that stuff. And, something happens, and she is reminded of that, and then she becomes very obsessive with wanting to recreate those sounds so that she can feel that sound again. And she you can fill in the blanks. You get the fucking point. Okay. First things first, I thought this movie reminded me a good amount of the movie Perfume, Story of a Murderer, where someone has this overwhelming sense, and they're trying to work towards getting like the ultimate high off of this scent, right? Like in Story of a Murderer, the Perfume movie, this guy has this amazing nose and he can smell all these things, and then he's trying to concoct the perfect perfume by killing people and basically brewing down their essence and combining them into like this one perfect smell. And the end of that movie is wild. Anyways, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's a cool film. Anyway, so yeah, this kind of reminded me of that because of the obsessive nature and such a focus on one of the senses and whatnot. So that's definitely what I was thinking of while watching this. The two lead women are beautiful, fantastic looking women. So that's a plus on its own. Just looking at them is definitely pleasurable. I can hear their beauty. That's how fucking pretty they are. But yeah, I liked this. I definitely liked this. This is a concept horror film, right? This is like it's kind of got a gimmick to it. It's the girl needs to torture or kill to hear the sound of pain, death. I don't know exactly what she's getting out of these people, but maybe it's like the release of their soul or something, and she's like feeding off of that, almost like the steam vampires and Doctor Sleep. I don't know. I think the performances are very good from everybody. It's shot very well. I like the concept. It's an enjoyable film. I liked it for sure. I did feel like there was something missing, but I do like watching female killers in horror because I just feel like they're so few and far between. So that was good, and I felt like very much felt her obsessive nature in this, and I do like her. I like her, and her. I kind of feel for her plight, right? I I'm kind of rooting for her, but at the same time, like what she's doing is horrible, and you're like, am I though? But she does a good enough job balancing those two, and you kind of see, and she sells that like obsessive nature and the pleasure she's getting from this, but at the expense of others, lives and pain. So not exactly, you know, a great thing to do. So she's kind of unlikable by default there, but still remains likable because she's um, a pretty real character. Like she's walking around the town. She's walking around town. She's shopping at stores. She's talking and interacting with her friends and interacting with. She does a very good job of making this character feel real. So you do kind of feel for her, but at the same time, she's doing awful things, so you don't want to. But yeah, I did feel like something was missing, and I'm not exactly sure what it was. And that's not typically like me. Usually I can put my finger on exactly what it is, and I'll say exactly what it is. Because I feel like they did do everything with this concept that they set out to do, and I'm not really sure how much better it would have been had it been done any other way. But maybe it's just the concept itself is limited, or maybe I don't know. There's cool imagery, of course, when she's seeing the sounds of pain and death. I thought that was cool and artistic, and there's moments where it looks like it's like kind of like almost bleeding from the pores and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I did like the visuals, and I thought the music at times was really cool. Obviously, with this dealing so heavy with music, I think that's important. But yeah, I liked it. I did like it. I don't know. It felt like it was missing something. It had a lot of good drama. It had a decent amount of horror. So I'm not really sure. This is what I'm saying. It's a tough one to pinpoint. But I think maybe if I sat with it longer, I could tell you why I didn't fully get into it. It's a hard concept to sell. I think they did a pretty good job, and the acting is good, so I think they did as good a job as maybe they could have. But maybe that's just it. Maybe the concept itself. But I don't know. Perfume Story of a Murderer is like, I think that movie's fantastic. Like, I think that movie is done about as well as it could be done, and I don't really have any complaints about that one. And that concept is pretty similar. So I guess that's not it. I don't know. I don't have it. But I do think this is worth a watch. I do think, it kind of reminded me of something that would come out from like the Welcome to the Blumhouse Amazon thing, just because of the connection to like a Nocturne that deals so heavily with music. But Nocturne is considerably better. I thought that was fantastic. This one is good. This one's good. I think you should watch it. Give it a chance. Maybe you'll like it more than me, but just let me know. Let me know what you think, and if you do have a gripe with it, or if you're like kind of like me, tell me what it is that you think would have made it better. I'm gonna think on that, and maybe I'll comment down below when I figure out and pinpoint what it is exactly I didn't love about this. But anyways, adios.